So, I was originally going to do some more work on my Marinette analysis, but then the newest trailer for HeartFixer dropped and... Well, I decided I kind of wanted to yap more about this right now. For a while, there was a lot of discussion on who HeartFixer could be, considering the trailer purposely kept it vague on who it could actually be. The two most likely candidates at the time were Marinette and Alya, and while I personally didn't think it was Alya, and I will admit this newest trailer kind of makes me feel vindicated, I'm going to go into my thoughts on the trailers, what I think will happen in the episode, and into details on why I personally didn't think it was going to be Alya. I have a few reasons to why I personally didn't believe it was going to be Alya. First of which being, if it really was going to be Alya, why would they feel the need to hide the fact that it was going to be Alya? Alya has been akumatized multiple times in the series. Alya had been akumatized 4 times on screen previously. The first time was in the episode Lady Wi-Fi, the second time was in the episode Mayura, the third time in Felix, and the fourth and final on-screen time in Gang of Secrets. If HeartFixer was someone who we've seen akumatized multiple times, then it doesn't really make that much sense to hide them. The second reason is because, well, to be honest, it doesn't really feel in character for Alya at this point. If there's 2 things that Alya has full faith in, it's her relationship with Nino and Marinette's love for Adrian. Alya knows Marinette well enough at this point to know that she would never cheat on Adrian. Alya trusts Marinette well enough to know that she wouldn't do something like that. If anything, knowing Alya, she would probably try to sniff into the situation more before jumping to conclusions like this. Plus, considering the Chopped Trio is clearly involved with the whole thing, I have a feeling that there's more to the situation. There's also the fact that Alya's body type doesn't exactly match up with HeartFixer's build. While in the previous seasons, turning into Rena Rouge did slim Alya down a bit, she still had a radically different body type than Marinette. And in Season 6, Alya keeps her body type regardless of whether or not she's transformed. The silhouette we see for HeartFixer is significantly more slender and has very small wrists. Adrian and Tiki's reactions to this also don't make that much sense if it was just Alya. Tiki's reaction especially doesn't make sense if you consider the fact that 2 out of the 4 times that she's been akumatized previously, Alya was trying to actively sniff out secrets that could potentially expose Marinette, and she didn't freak out nearly as much as this one. Actually, looking back, she was fairly calm about the whole thing, and it was more Marinette who was freaking out about the whole thing. We've already had 2 members of the team almost get akumatized but easily be able to fight it off. Sabrina and Maylene both shut that crap down fast. Adrian's reaction also doesn't make a lot of sense if it were just Alya. Never forget, when he was right next to Nino when he turned into Rocketeer, he didn't freak out nearly as much. Even though Nino was his best friend, there's quite a difference in these 2 reactions. He looks way more scared about this one than he did with his best friend being akumatized. So that begs the question, do I think it's Marinette? Short answer, yes. At this point, I do think it's Marinette. But then that begs the question, how is this going to happen? As we know, Marinette's not exactly the easiest person to akumatize. And no, it's not for the obvious reasons of plot armor. Marinette is above all someone who tries to find solutions. If there's a problem, she's gonna try to figure out a way to fix it. What I think is most likely gonna happen is that the Chopped Trio are willingly akumatized by Lila. We've seen multiple times that several people can be akumatized at once if they're all holding onto the same object. I think it's also worth noting that considering how they look in this shot, it looks like they're intentionally trying to be akumatized in this situation. I think Lila is going to turn them into an Akuma akin to Chameleon in Season 3. I think Ray is going to turn into Prem, and the other 2 are going to turn into Nino and Marinette to help sell their story that there is an affair going on. And considering the fact that in the newest trailer it looks like Marinette got slapped, I have a good reason to think that they turned into Alya as well to help further sow the seeds of distrust among the friends. Even in Alya's worst moments, she never hit Marinette, so I have a good reason to believe that this is probably the Chopped Trio at work again. I have a feeling that once they've caused enough chaos, they're gonna de-akumatize themselves, and at that point, they're probably just gonna sit back and watch the show happen. Considering at this point that Lila is already suspicious of Marinette, this would probably be the last thing she needs to confirm or refute the idea of Marinette being Ladybug. Think about it. If Marinette is akumatized and Ladybug is nowhere to be seen, or if someone else is wearing the Ladybug Miraculous shows up, it would probably be all the confirmation that Lila needs to confirm that Marinette is Ladybug. And in that scenario, the only way around this would probably be if Felix or Alya make a fake Ladybug, whether it be via an illusion or a Sentimonster. though the illusion would probably be a lot harder to pull off considering at this point, as far as we know, Rena can't make solid illusions. After all, an illusion by definition is something that's not real. But then, considering the fact that the Kwami's powers are all based around abstract concepts, it wouldn't surprise me if Alya figured out how to gain new powers for herself considering the dire situation that they would be in. It also is looking more and more like Marinette is considering abandoning her original plan and telling Adrien the truth. Now mind you, Marinette's original plan was to keep the knowledge of Adrien's dad being Monarch a secret until she's recovered the Butterfly Miraculous so she can minimize the potential danger he'd be in. Never forget, Marinette now knows that he's a senti and thus the potential of him being akumatized is a lot more dangerous than a normal human being. She above all does not want any harm to come to Adrien, but she's also recognizing more and more how detrimental this plan is not just to Adrien, but also for herself. And while Marinette is stewing on the possibility of coming clean about the nature of Adrien's father, he's also being fed a story that his girlfriend is cheating on him with his best friend. Now I'm gonna be honest, that sounds like a perfect cocktail for a miscommunication or a misunderstanding to occur. Especially considering that this season there's been a running theme of akumatizations being caused by miscommunications, misunderstandings, or even outright lies being told about each other. And with each time this happens, it's helping push Marinette further and further to the decision that she needs to come clean to Adrien about this. But that's just what I personally think will happen. Who knows, maybe I'm completely off the mark. We have a month until the episode airs, and I can't wait to see it and see who was right, who was wrong, and what will unfold. And honestly, I feel like Marinette deserves to have a chance to crash out at this point. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. And even tell me what other miraculous subjects you want me to yap about, or even if you want me to yap about non-miraculous ladybug subjects.